Hello everyone and welcome back to another Marvel Champions video. Today Fantasy Flight revealed quite a few cards from the Rise of Red Skull expansion. This is a campaign expansion. Should be coming out later this year. I think it was supposed to come out in the summer, but I think it's been pushed back until the fourth quarter. This got all the releases are delayed right now with what's going on. So we're gonna take a look at the cards here. This is the box where we can get some new characters. We're getting Hawkeye, we're getting Spider Woman, some new villains as well. You got again new characters, new allies, and it's going to have campaign play as well. So this is just a box. We're going to move into the card fan. I'll let you take a look at that, and then we'll move into the individual cards that were revealed today. We'll be right back with that. And here we are with just a few example cards from the set. We're going to move into the individual cards after this. So we're getting Spider-Woman, we're getting Hawkeye, looks like Sonic Arrow, Venom Blast, Clear the Area, Black Knight, Full Auto, Spreading Lies, Mimicry, and Abandoned Factory. Looks like there's different, Sonic Arrow is probably definitely going to be a Hawkeye card. Not sure exactly what that does, but I know his each arrow will have kind of like different abilities. There's an explosive arrow we'll take a look at later in the video. We have Spider Woman. She's actually the first character that can have um, basically can dual color or go dual aspect. So she can pick two aspects. You have to have an equal number of the same aspects. If you go with justice and aggression, you have to have an equal amount of each card. We'll get into more of that a little bit later. And then there is again clear the area. Looks like that's a justice card. We have Black Knight. Looks like an ally, and so on. So we're gonna move into our individual cards, and we'll be right back with those. All right, and starting off with our villains, we have Crossbones. Villain, one scheme, one attack. The attack has a little boost symbol. He's Hydra and the Mercenary, and has 12 hit points per player. Again, so and then his little attack, special attack is while Crossbones has a weapon attachment, his attacks gain piercing. Discard any tough status card from the target before dealing damage. So basically, if you have a card like you play, let's say Luke Cage for example, comes in with a tough uh, status card. It doesn't do anything against crossbones if he has a weapon attachment. So he basically just gets through armor, that kind of thing. So basically, it's gonna be one attack plus whatever he boosts for, and then toughness cards don't have any kind of effect on it. This is his level 1. They didn't reveal his level 2 or level 3, so we don't know exactly what's going to happen once you defeat this stage, what his attack and scheme is going to be, or what his ability is. So again, that is Crossbones. We're going to move into our next card. And next up, we have Crossbones Machine Gun. It's an attachment weapon. Let's see here. Zero doesn't give any additional attack. Comes in with 3 boost symbols, and you attach it to Crossbones, and it uses 2 ammo counters per player. And as a force interrupt, when Crossbones attacks you, remove 1 ammo counter from the card, and discard the top card of the encounter deck. And then it says you take indirect damage equal to the number of boost icons on the discarded card. So it doesn't add anything to his attack, and it comes in with basically bullets per player. So if he's doing it with 1 player, it comes in with 2. With 2 players, it comes in with 4 counters, and so on. And basically, every time you attack with him, you remove one of those counters, and you discard the card, and then it's going to do damage based on whatever the boost symbols on the discarded card are. So that's pretty cool. That's his machine gun. We're going to move into our next card. And next up, we have another villain. This is Absorbing Man. He comes in with 1 scheme, 2 attack, 14 hit points per player. He's a brute. And Absorbing Man gains the trait of each environment in play. And we're going to get into an environment in just a moment. So I guess the more environments you have in play, he gets those traits. So again, 1 scheme, 2 attack, and then again 14 health per player. We don't know what his level 2 or level 3 looks like, so we don't know what his abilities are going to be aside from that. But that is Absorbing Man. We're going to move into our next card, which is an environment, and that will interact with Absorbing Man. So we'll be right back with that. And next up, we have Snowy Hillside. It's an environment. Looks like it's an ice environment. So I imagine if you play this with Absorbing Man, it will give him the ice ability. And maybe there's going to be stuff that interacts with these certain types of environment cards or certain types of like characters that have ice. Maybe gain a toughness token or something like that. Not really sure. But anyway, it has Surge. At force response, after Absorbing Man makes an undefended attack against you, place one threat on the main scheme. Two threat instead if there are five or more delay counters on the main scheme. So we're not sure exactly what the delay counters are, but if there's more certain there's five or more on the main scheme, this will add one threat to or two threat to the main scheme. One if you don't have those counters on there, and if you reveal it as a boost, it just comes into play. It also has Surge. So that is the Snowy Hillside. We're going to move into our next card. And next up, we have Hawkeye. So they only revealed the hero side. It looks like we don't see what the Clint Barton side looks like yet. But Hawkeye has one thwart, two attack, one defense or one defend. He's an Avenger. And a quick draw action, exhaust Hawkeye to ready Hawkeye's bow. So I suppose if you have like tenacity on him, you can, you know, exhaust him, ready the bow, use tenacity to ready him, and basically be able to attack as well. But one thwart, two attack, one defense. Looks like hand size of 5 with 9 hit points. So that is Hawkeye. We're gonna move into our next card. And we also have Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, as an ally in leadership. So, two resources to play it. Generates aggression resources when you discard it for resources. One thwart, two attack with one indirect or incidental damage each. Comes in with 2 hit points. And is also an Avenger. And as an action, you can exhaust this ally and discard a card from your hand. Deal X damage to an enemy, where X is the number of printed resources on that card. So if you discard any of the resource cards that have 2 or 3 resources on them, she'll do that much damage to an enemy. So sometimes it might be better just to do her attack, which is going to do 2 damage. She does take a damage from doing that, though. So if you have a card that, let's say, you don't want her to take damage, you can use her action to exhaust her, discard a card, and then deal damage based on the number of resource symbols on the card you discard. So again, it's going to be better with cards that have multiple resource symbols on them. And then she also has one thwart, and it comes in with 2 hit points. So that is the Kate Bishop version of Hawkeye. We're going to move into our next card. And next up, we have Hawkeye's Bow. It's a 0-cost upgrade. It generates a wild resource if you discard it for that. It's a weapon, restricted. You can max 2 restricted cards per player. Your hero gets +1 attack, and each of your arrow attacks gains ranged. So range means retaliate does not trigger. So retaliate is generally if an enemy takes damage from an attack you're doing, it also hits you as well. This lets you basically, if you're using an arrow attack, be able to do that attack without actually taking any damage from retaliate. They kind of themed it so Hawkeye's maybe a couple hundred feet away from somebody, he can fire an arrow, and even if they get hit with it, they're not going to be able to just immediately turn around and hit him because he's so far away. So that is Hawkeye's Bow. We're going to move into our next card. And next up, we have Explosive Arrow. It's a 1 resource cost event. It generates aggression resources if you discard it. It's an arrow. As a hero action, exhaust Hawkeye's Bow and choose a player. Deal 3 damage to the villain and each minion engaged with that player. So the villain's going to take 3 damage, and then all the minions that are engaged with that player are also going to take 3 damage. This could work really well if you combo this with Thor, for example, because Thor he gets to draw cards when he engages minions. He has cards that allow him to engage minions that are previously engaged with other players. So if you have the aerial trait, you can basically pull minions to him, and they'll engage Thor. He'll get to draw cards off of that. So let's say Thor is dealing with like 2 or 3 enemies. You can use Explosive Arrow to hit the villain for 3, and then all of the minions that are engaged with Thor are also going to all get hit for 3 as well. So that could be pretty good. So that is Explosive Arrow. We're going to move into our next card. And next up, we have Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman's alter ego, hand size of 6, 11 hit points, recovers for 3. She's shield and also a spy. And the cool thing with her, she has this double agent keyword here. So choose 2 aspects instead of 1 during deck building. You must include an equal number of cards from those aspects in your deck. So normally, you're only allowed 1 aspect with your characters. So for example, the card deck I'm really doing well with right now is Leadership Iron Man. However, with Spider-Woman, you can include 2 aspects. So you can go Leadership Protection, or you can go Leadership Aggression, or Justice Aggression, and so on. So you do need to include an equal number of cards. If you're running 8 aggression cards, you then have to run 8 of whatever the other aspect is. And her action is you get to look at the top card of any deck, limit once per round. So that's pretty cool because you can look at your deck. You can maybe even look at the encounter deck and say like, hey, there's like shadows of the passes on top. Whoever has an ability to discard that card should probably use it right now and get rid of it. That kind of thing. So you got to look at top card of any deck. She's got the double agent, so lets her use 2 different aspects, and she recovers for 3. Again, hand size of 6. Hit points are at 11. We're going to move into the hero form of her with Spider-Woman, and we'll be right back with that. And here we have Spider-Woman. So hand size is now 5, 11 hit points, 1 thwart, 1 attack, 1 defense. She's an Avenger and a Spy, and has superhuman agility, which is an interrupt. When you play an aspect card, Spider-Woman gets +1 thwart, 1 attack, and 1 defense until the end of the round. Limit once per round for each aspect. So if you're running her of 1 aspect, she basically gets +1 to everything. So she'll have 2 thwart, 2 attack, 2 defense. I imagine the way this is worded is you could play two different cards on your turn. Let's say you play again, like let's say aggression and leadership. You can play an aggression card. She gets +1 in everything. You can then play a leadership card. She gets +1 in everything. So then for that round, she would have basically be 3, 3, 3, 3 thwart, 3 attack, 3 defense. Because it says limit once per round for each aspect. So that means to me, it looks like you play up to 2 aspects, you're going to get basically +2 in everything. So that could be huge. And then on top of that, you could play, let's say you're playing, see, it's leadership. There's cards in leadership that'll say, like, your hero gets +1 attack and 1 thwart until the end of the round. That will give her those +1s, and then it'll trigger another +1/+1 for playing an aspect, and then you could, again, do another aspect on top of that. So that is pretty cool. I think she's going to have a lot of turns where she just does an incredible amount of either thwarting or attacking, and possibly even defending as well, because you'd be able to defend quite a bit if you have that pumped up. But what else is there? There's that. Again, just do whatever you need, especially if you need to remove a lot of threat. You can play like 2 different aspects, remove 3 threat, find a way to ready her, and then maybe remove more threat or attack, and so on. So that is Spider-Woman, and that is going to wrap it up for this video. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We'll be back with more Marvel Champions videos as more cards get revealed. Until then, take care. Thanks again for watching.